This film ain't big enough for the both of them. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 villain versus villain fights in movies. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at the cinematic bad guys who just can't seem to play nice with others. Any villain who goes toe-to-toe with another villain in the same movie counts, whether that's the main point of the film or not. And it probably doesn't have to be said, but this list is full of massive spoilers, so proceed with caution. Number 10, Megatron vs. Sentinel Prime, Transformers: Dark of the Moon. In this 2011 action fest, Optimus Prime and the heroic Autobots must face down not one, but two allied enemy factions, the Decepticons and the Sentinels.
We were gods once!
Sentinel Prime, the Sentinel leader, proves to be too much for Optimus Prime to handle. It all seems lost before an unlikely ally enters the fray, Megatron, the Decepticon leader. Megatron believes the Earth should be his and his alone. So when he realizes Sentinel Prime might actually emerge victorious, he flies into a jealous rage and decides to personally finish off his one-time ally. The violent intervention gives Optimus Prime enough time to recover and eventually defeat them both. Number 9, New Goblin vs. Sandman and Venom, Spider-Man 3. In this conclusion to the Tobey Maguire-era Spider-Man movie trilogy, New York's favorite web-slinger finds himself on the ropes in a pitched battle against supervillains Sandman and Venom, when an unlikely ally turns up to help. New Goblin, also known as Harry Osborn, has finally discovered that his father's death was not actually Spider-Man's fault, and decides to atone for his past villainy by teaming up with the Wallcrawler to help turn the tide. It's not only a villain-on-villain battle royale, it's also a redemption story. Gotta love that. Number 8, King Kong vs. Godzilla, King Kong vs. Godzilla. The closest thing the 1960s had to a Rampage movie, this classic rumble comes to a head in the third act. The Titans duke it out atop Mount Fuji after desperate humans airlift King Kong to Godzilla in the hopes that the two will wipe each other out. At first, the Big G nearly kills Kong, thanks to his superior natural arsenal, but the giant ape manages to recover after being jolted awake by a bolt of lightning. Locked in a death grip, the rivals tumble down the mountainside and into the sea. In the end, only King Kong resurfaces, marking him as the victor, at least until the planned 2020 version.
Godzilla has disappeared without a trace. As for King Kong, our international communication satellite is following him.
Number 7, Union of Allied Planets Navy vs. Reaver Fleet, Serenity. Plucky browncoat and lead protagonist Mal Reynolds needs to run an impenetrable planetary blockade set up by the evil Union of Allied Planets so that evidence of their misdeeds can be broadcast throughout known space. But his spaceship, the Firefly-class transport ship Serenity, is hopelessly outgunned by the UAP Navy.
Target the Reavers. Target the Reavers. Target everyone. Somebody fire!
He finds an unorthodox solution to his problem by luring the universally feared Reaver Fleet, a berserk legion of insane cannibalistic marauders, into the blockade zone. The two forces duke it out in an enormous life-or-death struggle, and Serenity and her crew manage to slip through in the chaos. Number 6, Captain Hector Barbossa vs. Blackbeard, Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides.
I say, let them fight each other. Or we lay back, watch, have a drink, play some wagers.
This installment of the mega-popular Pirates of the Caribbean franchise proves the old adage that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Captain Barbossa, Jack Sparrow's longtime nemesis, ends up working together with the roguish pirate in order to find the movie's primary villain, Blackbeard, and settle an old score.
Get off me!
When Barbossa finally catches up with Blackbeard, he temporarily forgets all about Captain Jack and leaps into a no-holds-barred battle for revenge, occupying Blackbeard's attention and providing some great cinematic action in the process.
I will not have that smile on your face as I strike you down.
Take a gander, Edward Teach.
Number 5. Hela vs. Surtur, Thor Ragnarok. At the beginning of this Marvel action extravaganza, it looks like the legendary fire giant Surtur is gonna be the movie's big bad. But Thor handles Surtur without much difficulty and brings his crown back to Asgard as a prize.
What the hell is that?
Later, the movie's actual main villain Hela finally gets her comeuppance thanks to that crown, which contains Surtur's essence. Hela draws her strength from Asgard, and Surtur is fated to destroy Asgard. So reviving him is the obvious solution to defeating her. Sure, Asgard gets destroyed in the process, and sure, it's more of a cremation than a fight, but it's still a great villain-on-villain moment. Number 4. Khan vs. the Klingon Squad, Star Trek Into Darkness. Genetically enhanced Superman Khan has numerous battles throughout the film to show just how much of a badass he is, but his first fight against the Klingon emissary is a major highlight. Uhura and the crew are in a bad situation, facing down an angry patrol of Klingon warriors while trying to locate the fugitive John Harrison. The tense standoff ends suddenly when John Harrison, aka Khan, single-handedly overwhelms the Klingons with a phaser cannon and brutal hand-to-hand combat, wreaking havoc and proving that he is no ordinary Starfleet officer. Number 3. Darth Vader vs. Emperor Palpatine, Star Wars Episode 6: Return of the Jedi. Alongside the question of Luke Skywalker's destiny, the third film in the original Star Wars trilogy explores the question of his father Anakin's salvation or damnation.
That name no longer has any meaning for me.
Since becoming the Sith known as Darth Vader, the elder Skywalker has been a force of terror and death throughout the galaxy. However, when Luke spares Vader's life after besting him in combat, Emperor Palpatine decides to torture Luke to death in retribution for not choosing the dark side. In this moment, Vader finally regains his humanity, throwing Palpatine down a bottomless pit to save his son's life. It's one of the most dramatic and satisfying villain versus villain moments in cinema. Number 2. Xenomorphs vs. Predators, Alien vs. Predator. This battle was originally teased as far back as 1990's Predator 2. However, these two iconic extraterrestrial death machines of cinema finally got a chance to duke it out in 2004. Sure, the setup may feel contrived since their confrontation takes place in an ancient pyramid in Antarctica, but the battles certainly do not disappoint. The Xenomorphs even put up a stronger than expected fight against their technologically advanced foes, with just one Xeno taking down 2 Predators. And the final battle against the Alien Queen, the last Predator and some girl that, let's be honest, no one really cares about, is an epic send-off to this great confrontation. Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions.
And you're just starting to scratch the surface.
Number 1, Freddy Krueger vs. Jason Voorhees, Freddy vs. Jason. This over-the-top slasher crossover pits everybody's favorite Camp Crystal Lake revenant against the world's unluckiest school janitor in a fight to the, well, defeat, if not the death. Death is kinda slippery for these two.
Well, you better start thinking outside your little box, dude.
Freddy starts out in control of the situation, using Jason as a tool to regain his powers, but he soon finds Jason too difficult to control, leading to a violent showdown on the Crystal Lake docks. The final scene seems to show Jason victorious, emerging from the lake with Freddy's severed head. But then, the head winks. It's a fitting end for the original runs of both iconic horror series.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.